We've added our remote start to yet another BMW. You saw us install it in our F30 and F06, and now this F15 X5. We know you've been asking about remote start for your F15 X5 for a while now, and it's finally here. Jared is going to be showing you step-by-step on how to install it in your X5, but before we get to that, let's learn a little bit more about the product itself. For a full video on all the details about this remote start kit, click the link in the description to see that video, but since this is just an installation video, let's learn a little bit more about the basics. If you want to get right to the installation, go to this time in the video. After you get your remote start installed, you'll be able to take full advantage of what the newer BMWs have. This is compatible with most F and G series BMWs produced after 2012. In order to check if your car is compatible, go to the product page and decode your VIN, link in the description. To start your BMW, simply hit the lock button within 4 seconds on your key fob 3 times and it will start. To turn it off, hit the trunk button 3 times after the vehicle is running. If you don't turn it off, it will shut itself off after 20 minutes or a time that you select. This is perfect for those hot summer days or cold winter mornings. Never will you have to get into your BMW again at the temperature you don't want. Simply set your desired temperature before you leave your SUV for that day or night, and then the next time you start your BMW from afar, your HVAC system will turn on as well, getting your vehicle up to your desired temperature. And that means no more frosted windshields for our friends up north. Unlike the OEM BMW remote start, BimmerTech's remote start retrofit doesn't require activating the feature in the BMW iDrive. However, it does require a spare key fob installed in your BMW at all times. It will be permanently attached to a module underneath the front passenger footwell panel. This ensures that your onboard computer will recognize the presence of a BMW key fob, and it will allow engine activation. And no one will be able to start your engine with only the key fob inside your car. Having the second key is necessary for activation. If you don't have a spare BMW key fob to use for the installation purpose, please add the BMW key fob to your order. And if you're concerned about safety, there are quite a few things that this kit does to make sure that your vehicle stays safe. To engage or disengage the remote start, your BMW's transmission will have to be in park. You also cannot use the remote start to turn off your vehicle while it is in motion. Of course, as mentioned, the second key fob cannot be used to start the vehicle. It will never get any power until given the command to start from your other key fob. When you unlock your doors after you engaged remote start, your vehicle will turn off when you open the door. You will have to restart it again by pressing the button on the dash with your main fob near it like normal. It will also turn off when using the keyless entry feature. Now that you know about the product, let's get to the installation. We're going to be tackling all this with our BimmerTech DIY Essentials Kit paired with our trim toolkit. Now this kit has everything you need to take care of this install and so much more. It's also a great kit to have around the house or in the car. Head on over to our site today to get yours. But without further ado, Jarrett, take it away. Your kit will include the key fob module harness, main harness, key fob power source, key fob box, and main control unit. Let's start by getting your second key fob installed. If you don't have a second key fob, you can always order one on our website. Take the key box out and with a small Phillips head screwdriver, remove the 4 screws and take the green circuit board out. Now let's prep your second key fob. Press the button on the side of your fob to remove the key blade and use it to pop off the battery cover plate. Next, remove the battery inside. A pick tool can help. Whee! Place in the correctly sized power source with the ribbon cable side facing up. With this fob, the cover plate will fit back on, so go ahead and do that. Flip up the gray locking tab on the ribbon cable, and with tweezers, carefully place the ribbon cable in the connector, contact side down, blue side up. Snap the gray locking tab back down.
To keep things secured, Jared used a little bit of tape to secure the fob in place. Place the unit back in the box like so and screw it down. Now let's get to the actual installation. Let's start by disconnecting the battery. Open the rear hatch, lift the floor panel, and remove all of the 8mm screws holding the battery cover in place. Once the battery is exposed, use a 10mm socket to remove the negative battery terminal and set it aside. We now have to access the area where the module will go, which is the right side of the passenger footwell. Start by removing this door sill trim by prying up with a BimmerTech trim tool. The clips on the ends can be a little tricky. If any fasteners remain behind, remove them and place them back in the trim for later. Remove the footwell panel by rotating the locking tabs. Pull it down, disconnect the light, and remove it. Grab this side panel and pull it away. If any fasteners remain behind, remove them and place them back in the trim for later. Pull the carpet back to expose all the connectors we need. Jared used a bungee cord to help hold the carpet back. You'll need to remove this black cover plate. Use a T20 bit to remove the screw in the center, then use a trim tool to pop it off. You will see some extra wiring that you won't have in your X5. This vehicle has been used for some research and development for other products, so don't worry about the extras. Put the screw back in the middle to stop the panel from moving around. Grab the main harness from the kit and let's get it grounded. Grab the black wire with fork connector. Back out this screw here enough to slide the fork connector behind it and tighten it down. Now for the power. Remove this bottom fuse. Place it in the bottom slot of the fuse connector of the remote start harness. It's a tight fit. Place the connector in the same fuse slot. Jared is already tidying up. Go you! It's time for repinning. Using a trim tool, remove this black connector with black arm by pressing in the center tab, then rotating the arm up and pulling the connector out. We need access to the pin retainers in the sleeve, so by using a pick tool, press in the 2 locking tabs on the sides of the sleeve and then slide the retainers out. The wire colors in your BMW may be different, especially if you're overseas, but the pin numbers are the same. For here, we're removing pin 30 on the black retainer. Take the wire and gently pull up on it while taking your pick tool and gently pressing down on the tab that you can see through the window. The wire will pull out. It may get stuck on the next catch in the retainer, so just use your pick tool again in the next window. Use your fingernail or pick tool to slightly bend that tab back out so it locks in later. On the BimmerTech harness, locate the yellow and purple wires with the 2-pin connector. Pull the connector apart, then use a pick tool to gently lift on the center locking tab to slide the 2 halves apart. Jared confirmed the correct direction for the connector, and then you'll place the wire that you removed from the BMW pin retainer into pin 1 of the 2-pin connector so it lines up with the yellow wire. We're done with this one, so place the sleeve back on the 2 retainers, push the connector in place, then rotate the arm down to lock it. Now remove the lower black with white arm connector. Remove the 2-pin retainers. Locate pin 22. Create tension on the wire, then poke and pull it out. Carefully bend the tab back in place. Place it in the other slot of the 2-pin connector from the last step. Finish up this part by putting the yellow wire from the remote start harness into pin 22 that you just removed. Slide the 2 retainers into the sleeve and lock it back in place. Slide the other half of the 2-pin connector back on to lock the pins in place, and then plug the 2 parts together. Next, remove the white connector with white arm and the 2 pin retainers inside. Remove pin 45 with tension, poke, poke, and bend the tab back into place. Grab the light blue and dark blue harness from the remote start kit and place the pin you just removed into the pin slot facing the light blue wire. Then, take the light blue wire and place that into pin 45 on the BMW retainer. Next, remove pin 49 on the same retainer. TPPB. Tension, poke, poke, bend. Place that into the dark blue side of the 2-pin connector. Make sure the two halves of the 2-pin remote start connector are firmly pressed together. Then take the dark blue wire and place that into pin 49. Slide the sleeve back on and lock the connector in place. Now remove the upper black connector with white arm and 2 retainers from the sleeve. Remove pin 51 with TPPB. Then grab your orange lead with the remote start harness and plug pin 51 into the slot of the connector with the orange and black wire. Take the orange and black wire and place that into the pin 51 slot. Remove pin 52 next to it with the TPPB method. And place that into the slot that lines up with the solid orange wire. Make sure the two halves are seated. Then place the orange wire into pin 52. Slide the retainers in and seat the connector back in place. Jarrett makes sure all of the connections are solid once again. Let's prep the last 2-pin connector for repinning, the brown one. Once again, slide the connector out, lift up the retaining clip, and slide the two halves apart. Gently seat the connector in place to make sure you place the pin in the right slot. Remove the white connector with white arm and the 2-pin retainers inside. Use TPPB to remove pin 16. Place the brown wire from the remote start harness into that slot and pin 16 that you just removed into the slot corresponding to the brown wire on the 2-pin connector. Slide the retaining plate back on and connect the two pieces together. Rebuild and reseat the connector. If you want, use some tape or cable ties to tidy up the slack. Remove the center screw. Snap the black plate back on. And reinstall the screw one last time. Plug the other end of the remote start harness into the main module. Plug the key fob module harness into the key fob module, and then plug the other end of the key fob module harness into the main module. Tidy up the slack. Slide the main module up here so it's out of the way. Push the remaining slack behind the carpet. And then finish up by sliding the key fob module next to the main module. And then push the slack out of the way. Place the carpet back. Side trim. Weather stripping, door sill trim, and footwell panel. Reconnect the battery, reinstall the cover, put the floor back together, and you're done.
And that is how you install BimmerTech's remote start kit on your BMW F15 X5. Do you want this kit for your BMW? Of course you do. Head on over to our website and enter your VIN where you can find the right kit for your vehicle. We are constantly expanding the list of supported BMWs with our remote start kit, so check the description of this video to see if your BMW is on that list. For more product reviews, tips and tricks, installations, and so much more regarding BMWs, Minis, and Supras, make sure you subscribe and don't forget to ring that bell. And hey, check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok as well. Thanks for watching.